This is the Six Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts Luke Sylvia and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic. What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Six Man Show. It is September 13th, 2021. As always, I am joined by my co-host Luke Sylvia. Luke, what's going on, man? How are you?
Just watching NFL all day today, college all day yesterday. The weekends feel normal again.
Fall is back. The official first NFL Sunday this week, Luke. I'm not feeling so great. We are recording this 8:50 Sunday night. The Giants were stomped by the Denver Broncos today. I'm sitting here wearing my number 8 Daniel Jones jersey. And, Luke, I've got to say, I'm like 99% out on Daniel Jones.
Now, I hear you say that, and I wonder, before today, how many percent out were you on Daniel Jones?
Like 20%.
Whoa, today was a big 20%. One for you, huh?
Well,
do you think tomorrow will hit and you'll be like, maybe I'm like 75%?
Probably.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a couple Miller 64s tonight, so yeah, but we didn't see him most of the preseason. We saw him for one half in the preseason. He didn't look incredible, scored a touchdown, but I thought he was going to look so much better than the last time that we saw him, and he really doesn't. I mean, to be fair to him, the offensive line still sucks. Mm-hmm. Saquon Barkley definitely isn't all the way back. Tonight, outside of a few catches from Kenny Golladay, Darius Slayton had some flashes like he does. Sterling Shepard was great tonight, but, I don't know. He's inconsistent. He shows you flashes where you're like, he can be great if everything lines up, but I don't know if it's the roster. I don't know what it is, but it's not working right now. It might be Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator, but I went through such a long year with the Magic. I was really looking forward to the Giants season, and my hope is quickly evaporated today.
Yeah. It wasn't great. I've got a couple Giants fans.
Just say it was bad.
I have a couple Giants fans, in my life as friends, and it's you and then my buddy Brandon, who texted us in a group and asked how you were feeling, and you guys were able to kind of let it out together in the group chat. What's funny, so I have another friend of mine who's a Giants fan, actually hosts a podcast that's in the Blue Wire Pods network with us, Veterans Minimum. He just started a podcast, being a producer of a podcast called Upsets and Underdogs with Super Bowl champ Will Blackman. And it's, pretty much a betting podcast, right? And he put on his Instagram story, I'd trade Daniel Jones for 2 extra timeouts a game. So that's how Giants fans were feeling tonight. He also made the point, Jonathan, of saying it's gotten so bad that nobody hits me up, giving me a hard time for being a Giants fan. They just feel bad for me. My friends used to light me up when they would lose games like this, and now it's not even mentioned. So,
well, yeah, your buddy Brandon texted us and he was like, "Man, it's been like 5 years of this, and it's really 10 years if you don't count 2016." Which the Giants made the playoffs and just got stomped,
right.
In the wild card. So, yeah, I'm hoping for better things. We got 3 weeks, really 2 weeks till preseason. Well, training camp starts for the Magic.
Yeah,
and then 3 weeks preseason.
I think media day is the 27th of September or something, and then the training camp starts the 28th. So we'll be getting more content for you guys when media day hits, especially. We'll learn more about things we're going to talk about in this show, speculation-wise. Jonathan Isaac, his injury, how he's going to come back, things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out for sure.
So we've got some Magic news for you guys this week. So we're going to talk some Magic news. We'll get into it's a hot topic right now, the NBA 2K22 ratings for the Orlando Magic. And then, we're going to talk some Jonathan Isaac here. So in the last week, the Orlando Magic have signed Hassani Gravett Jeff Doughton, and John Teskey. Each of those guys have been signed to Exhibit 10 deals. Basically, they're going to get paid through training camp here, and if they don't make the team, the Magic will have the ability to sign them either to a two-way contract or that'll just kind of be their time. Hassani Gravett, Jeff Doughton, John Teskey, I believe all of those guys have played with the Lakeland Magic, if I'm not mistaken, so they're familiar with the organization. John Teskey, specifically, I know that he played with the Magic last year. I think he played with the Magic through the preseason, if I remember correctly. So, those guys are good G League players. It's good to keep them in the organization, get the reps with, like the parent club, I guess you would say. Don't expect any of these guys, really to make the roster, but it's
hope
good to see them back and getting
that
some more chances.
The reason we would see them this season, Jonathan, would be because this team is injury riddled, and so we're
not doing that again.
This
Nope.
doesn't
Nope.
No ill will toward any of those guys that just got signed. That's incredible for you guys. However, if I see you this season, I'm probably throwing my TV through a window because I know what that means.
I refuse to go through that again. I will not accept that is a possibility for us to suffer that as a reality another season. So we're just going to sweep that under the rug, and we're going to keep moving. Best of luck to those guys, but hope you have a great year in Lakeland. And then E'Twaun Moore, those of you who have been rocking with the Magic for quite some time now have been through a lot of pain.
The ankle breaker.
E'Twaun Moore is back. The ankle breaker. He is back. For those of you that don't remember, he played 2 seasons. The 2012 to 13 season and the 2013 to 2014 season before leaving in free agency. But yeah, he was part of that. Kyle O'Quinn, Victor Oladipo, those early days of the Rob Hennigan rebuild. So some people are worried, we're signing another guard. Maybe the writing is on the wall for Terrence Ross or Gary Harris. If you are signing E'Twaun Moore to be like a stopgap and you're going to move one of those guys, I don't think that's the answer. So, Luke, in my opinion, this is just adding another veteran presence to the end of the bench.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people freaking out about E'Twaun Moore just because of the fact of like, why are you bringing back E'Twaun Moore? He's like, why are you doing this? Another guard? It's like you said, it's purely a move by the front office to bring a veteran into the locker room. The Magic need it so badly. They started it with bringing Robin Lopez in. You've got E'Twaun Moore now. I mean, I think I don't mind the way these veterans, the veteran presence in the locker room is shaping up for these young guys. I don't mind it at all, especially E'Twaun, who has worn the pinstripes before. At least is familiar with the arena. Maybe a lot of the staff looks different, but he's got there is some continuity there. So hopefully he's able to bring the veteran presence that he's needed, and hopefully we don't have to see him too much this season.
I love E'Twaun. I just want to see him on the end of the bench clapping, cheering the team on, maybe wearing a suit some nights. I really don't know. For those of you unfamiliar with E'Twaun and his stats, so 598 career games, 7.9 points per game. He is a 38.8 career three-point shooter. So bring some shooting at the end of the bench again if needed. Hopefully we don't. But welcome back. Always good to see a familiar face. Hopefully things will go better in terms of team success this time around, Luke.
Yeah, hopefully so. We obviously don't want a repeat of those years with him on the roster. He won't have nearly as big of a role. I think he played 22 minutes and 19 minutes in those seasons. I'm hoping we see him maybe 6 minutes a game, 7 minutes a game. I'm hoping that he is not a high volume player for this team. He was on the Phoenix Suns, most recently here. So he's been with a winning team. Regardless of what you think of their playoff run, he was with a winning team before that was with New Orleans, and then signed with Chicago after he was with Orlando. So, I mean, all the best to E'Twaun. Hopefully he can bring some good energy off the bench and supporting on the bench for us.
That's a guy that's been around great players. You talk about Chris Paul, Devin Booker. Before that, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram.
Right.
Earlier in his New Orleans career, Anthony Davis. So this is a guy who's been around great players in the league and is going to be able to help these young players. We talk about Jalen and Franz and Chuma and Cole, things like that. Really help coach those guys up. We talk about Courtney Lee, just kind of being another veteran in the locker room, even though he's on, the coaching staff. E'Twaun is just really going to be another part of that, so that's great. All right, Luke, let's talk about these NBA 2K ratings, all right? we've talked about, and I wanted to bring up this really quickly. For those of you that haven't seen it, there's a clip out there that freaking Jake from State Farm is in NBA 2K. You're running around the city, and it looks like there's some type of like neighbor store, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You know, there's a State Farm store in the city, and you sit there and you can talk to Jake, and there's like a 45-second cutscene on him just plugging State Farm. Luke, what the hell are we doing where we're having 45-minute commercial spots in the video games that we're paying $65 for, and then they want you to turn around and spend $100 in VC so that your player cannot get smacked in the park?
Yeah, well, first of all, for those you don't know, I work for Allstate, so you already know how I feel about this spot.
Yeah, man, screw State Farm, bro. Allstate.
Number two,
you're in good hands.
Right, exactly. Marketing wise, for State Farm, it's great. For 2K, it's abysmal. It's ridiculous. State Farm is getting, the anywhere from 10 to 40, 50-year-olds that play 2K. If they next time they want auto quotes, home quotes, then maybe they go to State Farm as a result of, I remember State Farm. We'll check them out from 2K. Maybe it just sits in the back of their brain, and then that's what comes up for them. So on State Farm's part, great job. 2K's part, it's terrible. It's awful.
Like, how much could they possibly have paid for that spot? Like, whatever, like, medial amount of money that they've given you for that, it cannot be worth the amount of, like, that it is just so off-putting for that to be in a video game.
Yeah.
And another thing, you cannot turn on the TV for more than 5 minutes without seeing Jake from State Farm. Like, handsome guy. I feel like his biceps are a little bit disproportionate to the rest of his body. We're not going to get into that, but, like, it's not his fault. It's just weird. Anyways, Luke, let's talk about the Orlando Magic's ratings in 2K. So I'm going to start right at the top. So if you go to 2kratings.com, the number, in terms of just the number one rating, I don't know how they decided because there's two guys that have the same rating up at the top.
Yeah.
Wendell Carter is number one with an 80 overall. All right. Then Jonathan Isaac also has an 80, so you could put them, 1A, 1B, whatever order you want. Then we've got Terrence Ross at 78, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, all at 77s. Let's talk about that. How do you feel about Suggs, Cole, Markelle all being 77s?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that as of now, I mean, I'd say as of now, Markelle should be above Suggs, overall rating wise. Personally, I think that as the season progresses, that could change. So don't get me wrong. Don't hear me say Suggs can't surpass Fultz in one season, because I think it's very possible. And we hope it's possible for the fact that who Suggs we think he can become. That being said, 2K is all about strategy and that their ratings, they want to allow guys to really have room to grow, right? Markelle might be an example of one of those, right? I mean, 77, who knows what he looks like coming out of this injury. Say he looks great and he starts jumping up in the ratings early on. He comes back early. There's some strategy put behind this. And I'm not going to act like I even know a lot about the other ratings. I know like LeBron and Durant are like a 96 in the game. I really don't have a good feel for the spectrum of the ratings in the game right now. But kind of looking at this roster, Jonathan, I mean, what stands out to you about the overalls specifically? We can get into the categories in a second of how they're rated, but overalls, like, do you think that they got much right or nothing, or what do you think?
Well, I think, when you look at these, like, just the overalls, like, it's easy to kind of jump to conclusions. To me, the bigger issue is when you actually start looking at the individual stats and the way that they kind of put those together. Like, just on its face, Jonathan Isaac should be ranked higher than Wendell Carter. Like, just 100%. Don't come at me with, oh, well, Jonathan Isaac's always injured. Ask a Bulls fan. Wendell Carter, in most of his career as a Bull, has spent a lot of time, on the, injured list or whatever you want to call it. So we're not talking about durability here. Like, just apples to apples, Jonathan Isaac is a better basketball player than Wendell Carter Jr. right now. And like, to me, if Wendell's an 80, Jonathan should be like an 82 or like an 83. beyond that, like I think it's ridiculous that Markelle is rated the same as Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs. Like easily, he should be like 2 to 3 spots above those guys. Outside of that, I don't have any like really super hard opinions. Like you've got Mo Bamba at a 76, Robin Lopez at a 76. That's fine. I mean, maybe Chuma Okeke at a 75, Mo Bamba at a 76. That feels disrespectful, like 100%. And then Franz and Mo Wagner both at 74. RJ Hampton at a 73. I don't know that I like that. And then Gary Harris is 73. Gary Harris rated lower than Chuma Okeke, Robin Lopez, Mo Bamba. That's pretty dumb. Gary Harris, I think, should be like maybe a 76. RJ Hampton maybe is good at a 73, but then maybe Franz and Mo aren't 74s. I don't know.
I can't get a baseline like of like I just feel like there's no good baseline for any of these players.
Do you want me to tell you why?
Why is that?
Because their rating system is broken and their rating system is trash.
Oh, tell me about it.
And once we get into these individual players, I think that becomes a lot more obvious. So let's do that. We're going to start like at the top, and we're going to talk about Wendell, Jonathan Isaac, Terrence Ross, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Markelle, Mo Bamba, Chuma Okeke, Franz Wagner, RJ Hampton. Some of the other guys that I don't feel like we really need to go into all that much. Mainly going to go into like some of the younger guys that people are most excited about. So if we leave your favorite player out, we apologize.
Wait, I do have one thing, Jonathan, real quick.
Okay.
Quick little fun thing here. At the end of the season, who's the higher 2K overall, Franz Wagner or Mo Wagner? They are both at 74 right now on the ratings.
I'm going to go Franz because he's actually going to be in the rotation from day one. Maybe Mo plays like backup power forward and he sees some time, but I do think Franz is going to have an opportunity. I think Franz is going to surprise people this year. I think we are going to be very surprised when you compare that to what we saw out of him in Summer League. Like 6 months from now, we're going to be I feel like we're going to be happy with that pick. So I'll say Franz. What about you?
I hope so. I'm going to also say Franz just because of the fact that he's, like you said, going to be in the rotation. We know he's going to be. I hope you're right about Franz. I hope we see great things out of him this season. I don't know that I'm sold on it. Nothing. I mean, he came along better in Summer League, obviously, as he kind of got his footing. But I really don't know what we're going to see out of him this year. But I will say that at the end of the season, I'd say that he's going to be higher than Mo Wagner. So we'll see. And it kind of falls into that, like, if Mo Wagner's kind of going up the 2K ratings, it's probably because we've got some injured players. And I don't want to see that. So I'm going to be optimistic and say Franz Wagner is going to be higher rated.
So if we scroll down even a little bit more, I forgot Etuan Moore is a 73, MCW is a 72, Ignas Brazdeik is a 69. Nice. Gary Harris and Etuan Moore both being a 73 is high-key disrespectful to Gary Harris.
Yeah.
Whoever did this should be ashamed of themselves because that is atrocious. That might be the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in a video game. And this is someone who played, Modern Warfare 2, saw all the teabagging and everything that you guys used to do. That is more disrespectful than all the teabagging one could ever do. Etuan Moore and Gary Harris. I'm sorry, that's inaccurate. All right, Luke. Wendell Carter Jr., all right, rated as an 80. Only things that really pop out to me, 87 close shot rating. He's got an 80 standing dunk. The post hook, post fade, post control, 82, 82, 81. I feel like that's pretty fair. Perimeter defense, 47. Not really all that, surprising. Interior defense is a 78. In terms of like the athleticism, overall 76 athleticism. Highlights there, 82 strength, 85 stamina, 90 hustle. 90 hustle, I don't know about 80, maybe 85 hustle. I don't know about 90 hustle. But looking at Wendell's like individual stats here, anything that jumps out at you?
Not really, man. Again, I just don't know what that baseline should be. I also don't know him well enough.
Use your own baseline, like on scale 0 to 100.
Yeah, but I don't know that I'd put him as an 80. I think that the discrepancy here between J.I. and him being in an 80 is that J.I. might be good where he's at as far as an 80 goes, but WCJ, maybe you're a 70,
77, 78,
70. I was going to say 78, 77. So Yeah, I think that he is a little high, but I mean, whatever.
All right, on to JI. Jonathan Isaac rated an 80 overall. First thing that jumps out at me, defending 84. That's where we should stop and start. If you're going to look at the entire database of NBA 2K ratings, as soon as you come across Jonathan Isaac, it should be a red flag. Guys, we have a problem here. Because one of the best defenders in the league is rated at an 84.
Yeah.
I want to know, is there anyone that's a 99? Because if there's anyone that's a 99, they should completely destroy every file of NBA 2K and they should start from scratch. Because it's just fundamentally broken at that point.
Yeah, I think that I would, as far as 2K goes, obviously, they're trying. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they say, okay, we want to have the player at this overall. We need to kind of tweak some things within their, in-depth ratings. I don't know how that looks for 2K. But what I'll say, for Jonathan Isaac, man, it's not that hard. Even if you want to keep him at an 80, you lower his 3-point, because right now he's at 77.
Yeah,
this is a guy
high.
That's a guy that shoots 35% right now. And we'll get into Terrence Ross, but Terrence Ross is only 3 points higher on the 3-point rating scale than Jonathan Isaac. So I think you lower that, and then you up some of his defensive abilities here, and you can keep him at an 80 that way. Maybe it goes up to an 81 as a result of averages, but regardless, at least you got some things right statistically in categories.
So let's go through the defending real quick. So first of all, 75 interior defense. I don't know that I agree with that. He's got a 93 block rating, so they are giving him credit for being a good shot blocker.
Yeah.
But I feel like shot blocking is part of interior defense. Being a rim protector is part of interior defense. It's in the name. It's the interior. You have the perimeter, you have the interior, and that's it. Perimeter defense is an 86, so I'm like, okay, maybe it should be an 88. You could argue that. 86 is decent, but I feel like 75 is just really disrespectful.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it should absolutely be higher. I'm glad that they gave him recognition on shot blocking. I'm sure that they're just going through some person's going through statistical categories here. What?
85 defensive consistency. What in the God's name of this beautiful planet are we doing? Defensive consistency is an 85.
Yeah.
What are we doing here, Luke? Let's end the episode. I'm so done with this. That is the most atrocious thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
85 defensive consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what their excuse is. I don't know if sample size isn't good enough for them.
Maybe we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe we should cool you off a little bit. Maybe we go to some other spots on the roster, Jonathan.
All right, real fast. 90 hustle, the same as Wendell Carter. I don't agree with that.
No.
All right, Terrence Ross. So Terrence Ross, I feel like this is a little bit closer to what it should be.
Yeah.
78, I feel like the overall is fair. The only thing about his individual stats that I don't agree with is the 83-point shot, especially if you're saying Jonathan Isaac is a 77. We both agree that should be lower. I feel like Terrence is 82, 83 3-point shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I don't know where he stacks up in comparison in terms of rating wise, but I mean, I don't see why either they got his either his 80 is right and everybody else on this list is basically wrong as far as 3-point rating goes. But yeah, I feel like the only critique really that I have is that his 3-point rating should be higher. I think his overall is good. I think 78, 77 is where I would have expected him to be. But because his biggest part of his game is 3-point shooting, and then kind of everything after that is falls off. So up his 3-point rating a little bit, 2K, and you whatever you need to do to get him keep him where he's at, or 77, whatever.
68 perimeter defense feels a little bit low, but some of these are really vague, close shot. Does that mean wide open close shot? Because he's at an 86, and I feel contested, he's not an 86. Driving to the basket. But, the defensive modifiers and everything like that in 2K always kind of play into effect. But I feel like Terrence is pretty fair, but, just a couple of critiques there. So next up would be Jalen Suggs. And I believe Kevin, our producer, pointed out before the show that Terrence Ross was on his stream either yesterday or a couple of days ago before all the ratings came out and said, I love Jalen Suggs, but if Jalen is rated higher than me, he was going to be, pretty upset. So hopefully Terrence is okay with Jalen being at a 77. So not too much is jumping out at me with Jalen. I mean, 77 feels probably right, but again, going back to J.I. being a 77, J.I. should probably be lower, like closer like a 74, 73, maybe something like that. The athleticism for Jalen, 83, a lot of that feels pretty good. 90 vertical is interesting.
I mean, we
I
saw
know
it on
RJ Hampton is like an 83. I would not say that Jalen Suggs vertical is that much better than RJ.
They saw Jalen
Suggs
Suggs put back in summer league, and they were like, okay, up his vertical a little bit, I guess.
They haven't seen RJ's Instagram videos this summer.
No,
I can confirm that. Anything about Jalen really, jump out at you? I mean, ball handle 86 maybe feels a little bit high, but the three-point, right?
His three-point shooting is too high, I think.
Yeah.
I think it should be like a 75, 74.
Okay.
I mean, in the summer league, it looked, better than it did in college, I'll say, in terms of like just strictly percentages.
He shot it really well in summer league.
He did. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe
if he's going to stick to that, I feel like 77 is fair. I'm
Right.
judging this off of what we saw from summer league, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his final 3-point percentage was in summer league, but it was better than it was in college. So I mean, if you want to put him, I still think it's a little high. I think he should be 76, maybe, and maybe a tick lower. I don't know, but I think he's going to have a difficult time coming up from 77 throughout the year in terms of 2K ratings.
I don't have the numbers for summer league off the top of my head. If I had to put $100 on it, I would say it was above 40%. So, again, shot the ball really well. All right, let's talk about Cole, because Cole at a 77, I feel like that is maybe a touch high. The thing that jumps out to me is the 87 mid-range shot. Cole is a good mid-range shooter, but like 87, you're flirting with 90 territory, and I don't know that it's there yet.
Yeah. As far as his ratings, I mean, does his dunk feel low to you? Like he can dunk. I don't know what they specifically put underneath that category. You got like
driving
the advanced
dunk
stuff.
65 feels low.
Yeah.
Standing dunk at a 40, that's probably accurate.
Right.
He's a smaller guy. 65 driving dunk that's just atrocious. Vertical at 77 is absolutely atrocious. If you're putting Jalen Suggs vertical at 90, Cole should be right there.
Right.
That's just, like, we can talk about this, but clearly we've gone through like 5 ratings now, and the rating mechanism is clearly broken.
Yeah.
Like, this just does not add up to what
someone
you
shocking.
watch a basketball
Someone
game
doesn't have
for
a
5
handle on the
seconds.
Magic.
Oh, it's shocking. Yes. All right, Markelle. So Jalen, Cole, Markelle, all sitting at the 77. What jumps out at you about Markelle? Like 88 close shot, 90 layup, 100% makes sense. Playmaking at an 84, definitely agree with that. Strength, 56. They didn't see him lay that shoulder into LeBron James, apparently.
I was going to say that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really do think, Jonathan, that they're trying to, like, I really do think that they say, like, we want them at this overall, and then they tweak their stuff. And, like, their in-depth ratings. That's the only explanation for a lot of these. Yeah. I don't have a strong opinion on, Markelle one way or the other in terms of his overall. Maybe he is cool where he's at, but some other people should be lower on the team. Like we talked about. Like, I just don't think that he is equal to those guys at all.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that must be what it is, because, if you're going through and you're, properly rating all these individual stats, and then it's like a cumulative score that gives you the overall, like, they're probably like, oh, Markelle, at an 81 that's much too high. We can't do that,
right.
Something like that. So,
yep.
All right, Luke, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come and break down some of these final guys' 2K ratings. Today's episode is sponsored by our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. It's back to school time, and we want to make sure you pack the essentials to have the best year yet. The Manscaped 4th Generation Performance Package is just that. Things are opening up. Be ready for whatever is in the daily schedule for you. It's the perfect package for your package and includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Fellas, go for the head of the class of ball trimming and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code SIXTH. That's SIXTH at manscaped.com.
School is back, and the Performance Package 4.0 for Manscaped is here to teach the boys a lesson on male hygiene. Inside, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts, Performance Boxer Briefs and the Shed travel bag. This package includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0 and will give you the confidence to do anything you desire. New year, new you. Might screw around and attend Smooth Balls University this fall. Wait, is that a thing?
Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SIXTH at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code SIXTH, SIXTH at manscaped.com. This year, graduate with a degree in clean balls from Manscaped. All right, Luke, Mo Bamba's 2K rating. So he's at a 76. And when we talk about Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, if they're really 77s, like the Mo Bamba 76 feels too high. We talked about that kind of, talking about everyone's ratings. But the craziest thing to me is an 85 standing dunk. Taco Fall, who's, 7 foot forever, also has an 85 standing dunk. If Taco Fall does not have a 99 standing dunk, like, I don't know if you can look up, Boban. If Boban doesn't have a 99 standing dunk, then nobody in the history of the world can have a 99 standing dunk. That's just ridiculous. For a guy to be that big, like, if you give the ball to Mo Bamba underneath the rim, give him 100 chances to dunk the ball, he is dunking the ball 100 times.
Yeah.
That should be where it starts and ends in terms of standing dunk rating. The 92 block, I do appreciate that. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find Boban here, because that's interesting to me. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. He's a 74 overall. Standing dunk is a 95.
Okay, how is his standing dunk a 95 and Taco Falls is 85?
Yeah,
like, come on. We don't have to harp on how terrible these ratings are, but this rating, mechanism, it really seems like. Outside of that, I don't feel like there's too much wrong. 74, lower than Jonathan Isaac. I don't think that's true. I feel like Mo is probably in a vacuum right now the better shooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where would you rate Mo Bamba at in terms of his overall?
I would say Mo is probably like a 72, 73 maybe.
Yeah, I would probably say 73. In which case, RJ should be higher. I mean,
right.
RJ shouldn't be below Mo Bamba. That's a crime.
Neither should Chuma Okeke.
Yeah, true.
And that's what we'll talk about next. So sitting at a 75, the 83-point shot, like him and Terrence, being the same. Chuma probably is an 80. We're talking about Terrence should be higher than an 80. Chuma 80 feels accurate to me. I feel like 2K got that right.
Yeah, for sure.
Defense 80. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like Chuma is a 75. I feel like that's fair.
Chuma's a 75, but is he a 50 dunk to you?
50 dunk? Maybe a 60. He's not. Yeah. He does not have like off the chart athleticism. Like the vertical's at a 74. That's probably fair. Again, some of these, like the naming mechanism, for some of these ratings isn't all that detailed. Like driving dunk.
Yeah, there's a
what
reason
does
for
that
that
mean? If he's on a fast break, is he going to be able to dunk the ball?
They don't want you to be able to critique too in depth.
Yeah,
so they make everything vague.
Yeah. All right, well, Chuma, we agree. 75, that's pretty fair. All right, Franz Wagner, 74. So he's listed as the three-point specialist. Anyone that watched Summer League would probably disagree with that. He's sitting at a 78 three-point shot. Maybe we haven't seen enough from him to like totally properly judge that, but 78 just right off the bat feels a bit much. 85 offensive consistency. I don't know about that. Apart from that, is Franz a 74? Maybe Franz is a 74. I don't know, Luke. Looking at this, I don't know if there's anything totally egregious.
The the 3-point rating is egregious, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I mean 74 is fine. I don't really know that I care too much one way or the other. 74 is fine, and then I mean I really don't have anything to add as far as Franz goes, and besides the fact it was 3-point shooting.
All right, last up, R.J. Hampton is the last guy that we're going to cover. 73 overall, which compared to some of these other guys just, really feels ridiculous. What jumps out to me is a 98 hands. Like 90, how does RJ have 98 hands and Mo Bamba has an 85 standing dunk? I'm not saying RJ doesn't have great hands, but 98 is very close to
it's
a 99.
Weird. It's weird because he's a 73 overall. And that feels low to me comparatively to what we've seen from the team. Again, I haven't looked at the league's ratings and who he's around by being at a 73, but if you're rating him that high with his hands, I mean 73 just tells me you didn't watch him play in Orlando, but then you're giving him that high of a rating on his hands. Like, who's vouching for this guy on his hands but not his overall?
Cole Anthony also has 98 hands. Jonathan Isaac has 68 hands. I have no idea. They all have 2 hands from as far as I can tell. So beyond that, I don't know what goes into this, like how good they are at catching passes. I mean, the only person that I know that really had an issue with hands, I mean, Mo has some questionable hands at times. Bismack Biyombo by far, literally was carrying around cinder blocks filled with cement on his hands at all times.
I think that 2K should just give every player in the league 85 hands, unless you're Bismack Biyombo, you give him 40 hands.
Yeah.
And then you just let everything ride it out, let it average
Right.
into the rating how it does. I don't know how is hands really a necessary rating in this game, by the way?
I mean, for Bismack, yes. Everyone else,
Exactly, but
maybe Mo.
How do you
Everyone
know?
else, I feel like you can get
how
away
do
with
you
it.
judge that? How do you rate that? Are you watching tape and seeing how many passes they fumbled
They're not
or
watching
dropped?
tape. I can guarantee you that.
So they're just kind of like,
They are not watching tape.
This sounds good.
Yeah, 98.
You know?
Yeah, that sounds right.
98, but he's he's a 73 overall. Yeah, no, 98 sounds good for hands. Yeah, that's good. It's like
90
okay,
speed,
dude.
90 acceleration. That probably sounds accurate. I'd be curious to see who are the fastest guys in the NBA. If RJ isn't top 5 to 7, it's a complete sham. Vertical 83, we both said that we don't necessarily agree with that. 70 hustle, I don't agree with that. That needs to be bumped up. But yeah, 73 for RJ compared to some of these other guys is pretty egregious. But we've now spent the last 20 minutes just crapping all over 2K.
And it wasn't enough, by the way.
Yeah, it really, really, really wasn't enough. I was really contemplating buying this game until the State Farm thing, and now I just don't know whether or not I'm going to buy the game. I probably still will. That's the craziest, crappiest thing, is I probably still will buy the game.
Yeah, I won't, but good on you.
I'll tell you about it.
Thanks. Appreciate that. You got anything else?
Jonathan Isaac. We're going to talk about
We do have Jonathan Isaac.
So it's been 407 days when you're listening to this on Monday, the 13th. 407 days since Jonathan Isaac tore his ACL. Typically, ACL injuries are slated anywhere from 9 to 12 months. So 12 months, 365 days. So we're about 40 days post, your typical 100% ACL rehab. The season doesn't start for another few weeks. But last weekend, Jonathan Isaac was at an event with Jump Ministries Global Church at their seafood festival that he helped put on with the church there. And Chris Hayes of the Orlando Sentinel was there talking to Jonathan Isaac and asked Isaac if he would be ready to go opening night. And this is the quote from Jonathan. He says, "We'll see. I'm on the court. I'm weaning out of the brace. I'm jumping. I'm finishing around the basket and such. I'm easing my way. I'm getting there. I feel good. My knee is doing great. I'm making strides. I'm getting stronger, and I'm just taking it one day at a time." Luke, that does not sound like someone who is going to be ready to play in 5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, you take out the brace part of it, and it just sounds like he's been conditioned by the front office and PR team as to what to say to people. But he mentioned the brace specifically, which sounds, I don't know. I'm not going to act like I know how long, when someone takes off a brace, it feels too close, to the season starting for me to think that he's going to be ready to go. What were your initial thoughts on the quote?
The weaning out of the brace, like you said, was the thing that jumped out to me. Like 12 months to be weaning out of the brace, like that feels like we didn't hear of any type of setbacks, so I don't think that was the case. But maybe he didn't progress as quickly as they would have liked, or again, we've come back to this 5 bajillion times. They're being overly cautious. All right, so everyone knows he had the knee sprain January 1st, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Came back at the end of July, all right, and had arguably the biggest knee brace I've ever seen someone play basketball with.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being literal. It was so bulky. We were like, is he really okay to play? And then a few games later, he gets hurt. We're like, oh my God, he wasn't ready. Shouldn't have played. Now they're saying they're totally unrelated, 2 freak accidents, whatever the case may be. It doesn't surprise me if they would be overly cautious with him. But I was thinking about this today as, I was watching, the NFL in the last couple of days. Like Rob Gronkowski is a guy who's had, a ton of issues with his arm, and we always see him still to this day, wearing that brace on his arm. J.J. Watt is another guy who we've seen wear like that huge bulky arm brace. Maybe that's something that we're going to see become a thing in the NBA. Like maybe for a while, Jonathan is just going to continue to wear some type of bulky knee brace in games. I really don't know. But what I took from it is I'm not concerned. I'm a little bit, I think, and this might sound wrong, a little bit disappointed because I was really looking forward to seeing him at the beginning of the season. Like 3 months ago, it was a foregone conclusion for all of us.
Yeah.
Jonathan Isaac will be back. Markel's not going to be back until after the All-Star break. Now, will Markel be back? Sounds like he might. We don't really know for sure. But Jonathan Isaac, like those words does not sound like someone that is confident that he's going to be playing opening night. Now, even if he's being kind of reserved with his answer, and again, this wasn't a video, this is just print, so we don't really, know what his inflection was like. Maybe he was speaking really confidently at the time, but At least that quote doesn't really shout confidence that he's going to be ready to play anytime soon. So it is disappointing, but it's not concerning because we haven't heard of any setbacks. Now, had we, and he was still weaning off the brace, then I'd be like, okay, something is not right here, quite obviously. But we all know we're not playing for much this season anyway.
Right.
Jonathan Isaac's health is crucial to everything that we're going to be doing in the future. As much as it sucks and as much as selfishly, more so, I want to see him on the floor, it sucks that we probably won't see him opening night. But are you concerned at all?
I don't know that I'm concerned. I wouldn't say I'm concerned. There's no this team is not contenders. They're not, the Magic, spoiler alert for you guys, they will not be in the NBA finals this year. They won't be in the conference finals this year. They won't be in the second round, and we hope that they're in the first round by some also miracle. So I'm not worried about it. I think disappointed is a good word when reading this quote and thinking like, oh, he might not be there opening night, solely for the fact that we think that this season will be filled with a lot of losses, and we need like the best news that we can get. Jonathan Isaac starting opening night would be the best news we could get. But I'm not, I understand, right? Like I understand that, like, yes, okay. If he plays opening night and, God forbid he gets hurt, like, early in the season,
why would you even say that?
I will,
because you know what happened last year. We're like, okay, he's coming back. God forbid he tears his ACL, and guess what happened? We put it out into the universe.
Right.
Please, I'm literally going to pray tonight that does not happen. But yeah, that would be an absolute disaster.
But that, that's the point, right? If you started him beginning of the season, I'd be like, well, shouldn't have started him so soon. right? So we want to err on the side of caution. If they don't think he's ready, then don't put him out on the court, please. Big, if he's not out on the court, that far removed from his injury, there's a reason. And they're just taking their time. They don't want to have any fingers pointing at them if, anything were to happen. They're going to take their time with the guy that they just extended and try to get him the most healthy season possible. Because at this point for J.I., it's reps as being the team leader. He's coming into the season, never having shot over 10 shots a game. He's never been the offensive guy. This year, I think he could be the offensive guy in a lot of scenarios. Obviously, we know he can do defensively, but that's the thing. You got to make sure that he is ready to carry the workload. And you don't, even if it means playing him on opening night for 15 minutes, I don't care. I'm not expecting to make the playoffs by any stretch of the imagination. So maybe just build up his minutes as the season goes on, and maybe, a month and a half in or a month in, he's playing normal minutes. But I don't see a reason to rush him back. So while I am disappointed like you are that he may not play opening night, one, like you said, we don't know the inflection of his voice. We don't know how that interview went. We really don't know, because we talked to J.I., what was that, a couple months ago now, and it seemed optimistic. I mean, J.I. talks optimistically in general. I mean, he is running, he's jumping. I don't think he's far. If he isn't back on opening night, I don't see why he's not, on the court 2-3 weeks down the road, maybe sooner. I mean, who knows? So I think that this quote could be us making a lot out of nothing, but at the same time, it is worth, looking at. One, because there's not a lot of Magic news right now. Two, because this is a guy that we believe could be the cornerstone. And we really hope that he is ready for opening night. But like I said, if he's not, you just kind of trust the front office, throw your hands in the air.
Yeah. And again, selfishly, I wanted to be in the building when he made that return. Like, I know him walking to the scorer's table, Amway is just going to erupt. Now I'll probably have to watch that, from home on Bally Sports, Florida, now that it is. Jonathan, if you're out there listening, all I ask, I'll be sitting floor November 26th against the Bulls. If you could be back by then, I would very much appreciate that. That would be phenomenal.
Right.
So,
what would that be? Like a month after the season starts?
Basically a month and a couple days, something like that.
I think he'll be there.
There's a good shot. I hope so. But anyways, Luke, I think that's it this week.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything else.
All right, perfect. Well, guys, for Luke Sylvia, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You guys are listening to The Six Man Show. We will catch you guys next time. See ya. Thanks for listening to The Six Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. Please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It would really help us out a lot. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram @6manshow and like us on Facebook. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic.